Next up, we're going to move on to the Lions wrap-up, giving you a quick roundup of everything that's happened today. And here is Susie Walker, VP of Awards and Insights at Lions, to help us pull out the key insights today, all 10 of them. Go for it.
Yes, so again, I've got 10 hot stories from awards and content on demand, a bit of a mixture. So the first story is from the Creative Business Transformation Lions. We've heard a lot about it today, but it is our new Lion this year. It's the Lion that really celebrates work that drives businesses forward. So brands are asking much more of their creative partners and to support changes in core business functions. We just heard about that. And that includes the Grand Prix that went to Marcel Paris for Act for Food by Carrefour. It's a brand that's very interested in creativity. So let's have a look.
Conventional agriculture is the leading cause of global warming and loss of biodiversity. Health problems are increasing and the condition of farmers is more precarious than ever. We fought to change an unfair law that forbids sale and cultivation of farmer seeds, destroying 90% of agricultural biodiversity. Act for Food, a worldwide program of concrete actions for the food transition. From now on, our campaigns would become brave brand acts. Acts to improve our consumers' health. Acts to make our food system better for farmers and for the planet. Be the leader of the food transition for all.
Next up.
So we're going to go straight to the debrief for that line, and we're going to hear from Sarah Lemarié from Marcel. And she was talking about how the journey began for Carrefour when they decided to go from a price war model to a food quality model. And she has a really interesting take on the interplay between creativity and transformation. So we're going to hear from her now.
It's a very hard thing to move such a big organization because Carrefour worldwide, it's more than 300,000 employees. They needed a boost. They needed a creative idea, a creative platform that would help them make this shift, make this very big transformation. Our role as creative agencies is to actually find the creative idea able to do this. I think there is a misconception about the fact that when you do the sustainable thing, the responsible thing, you have to do it in the responsible, meaning very boring way. We have to inspire them with a beautiful idea, an inspiring idea, and that's what we had to find, what we managed to do with Act for Food.
Congratulations to Marcel. Yeah. Next up.
Okay, so we're going to go to the brand experience and activation lines. They're our second biggest line. And so many events and physical experiences have been cancelled in the last 15 months. It's been amazing to see so much great work from brands pivoting to digital experiences. So the story today is the Czech Republic have won their first Gold Lion at Cannes Lions ever. And it's the anti-corruption hackathon. So we're going to have a look now.
Proto organizuji hackathon a přijďte nás podpořit, pokud umíte programovat tento víkend.
Znám, že se teď pokoušejí desítky programátorů.
Ten hackathon.
Český programist plýtvá penězi.
Bude pesovat jen tak jako cokoliv, když to bude za peněz.
Hugely impactful campaign. Next, number 8.
Yes, 7.
7, sorry.
So we're going to look at experience design. Always interesting to hear from Amazon about what they're up to. So we're looking at their keynote. It was their VP of Marketing and Prime, Neil Lindsay, and he spoke to Yuval Noah Harari, and he's the author and historian, and they were talking about humanizing experiences and Amazon's success formula. So let's have a look.
Well, one of the big early ideas, I think, for Amazon was that it's always day one, which becomes a compelling story, if you like, when you imagine how it inspires teams to get up every day and invent on behalf of customers, and that there will be endless opportunity to do so. You know, another early idea that may have helped shape Amazon, in my view, is the idea of the flywheel, which I sort of imagine as like an early Homo sapien etching on the wall of a cave, but in this case was probably scratched on the back of a napkin. Now, when you look at the flywheel, it fools you into thinking it's all about growth. But growth is actually in service of a lower cost structure. A lower cost structure is in service of lower prices, and lower prices are really about delivering a great customer experience. And of course, if customers have a great experience, they're likely to talk about it to their friends, And as we all know, word-of-mouth advertising is the best form of advertising because it's free.
That was one of the highlights of the week, I think, not just the day.
Yeah. So number 6. Okay, so Creative E-commerce Lions, we had 2 Grand Prix today. One of them went to FCB Inferno London for Raising Profiles, and that was a collaboration between The Big Issue and LinkedIn. And it really helped change the perception of the homeless charities vendors, and they did this cleverly executed social media innovation. Really, really interesting. And FCB London are on a bit of a roll. They've won 29 Lions since 2015, including 3 Grand Prix, so definitely one to watch. Let's have a look.
The Big Issue is a UK magazine sold on the streets by people in need to provide a positive alternative to begging. But then everything changed. We recreated the vendor sales model online. Cross-referencing workplace locations on LinkedIn, we found people who worked near where our vendors used to sell, and we recreated that neighbourhood digitally. So the vendors could reconnect with the same professionals who used to walk past them every day.
Because every vendor had a personalised e-com trigger, they could make sales easily at whatever point they wanted in the conversations they were having online.
Great collaboration. Number 5.
Okay, so over to content and demand. We're going to look at the intersection of creative experience and creative e-commerce. There's been lots of discussion around the immense potential of virtual worlds and digital avatars. So we're going to hear from the Chief Commercial Officer of PepsiCo.
I think the experience curation is where there's going to be a lot more emphasis on consumers' expectations in the virtual world. In fact, consumers will spend probably more time curating their digital avatar than their physical life. So you think about stuff like there's going to probably be a digital to avatar economy. So there's going to be entire line of clothing or entire line of beverage or foods that your digital avatar will consume in your virtual world, but will never come to life in your real world.
So exciting to think about just how that will continue.
Yeah, exciting and scary.
And scary, a little bit scary at the same time. Yes, you're right.
Okay, so number 4, we're going to go to the Creative Effectiveness Lines. These are the lines that celebrate the business impact of creative work. And Nike picked up the Grand Prix for Dream Crazy. It's an infamous piece of work, hugely impactful by Viden Kennedy. And we're going to go to the debrief and hear from the jury president, Anne Mukherjee, about why it won their Grand Prix.
Nike believed so deeply in its brand purpose and in its values, right? It was willing to risk its business. And if you go back and look at the brief, yes, this is incredible creative work. But what's really important is this is about effectiveness. And if you look at what problem they were trying to solve, they were losing relevance. They had a real brand issue, a growth issue, especially among millennials and younger generations. And they knew they just needed to stand up for their values because they know if they did, it would really resonate with them. And they got rewarded with business sales. They got rewarded by regaining share. This is why we do what we do, right? This is about great work that works.
Anne was, of course, answering members' questions earlier. So inspiring to listen to.
Yeah, she is an incredible woman. So number 3, so we're moving to the Mobile Lions and looking specifically at the travel sector. So they've obviously seen huge disruption because of the pandemic, and we often see increased creativity when a brand sector is really under pressure. And this week we've seen an outpouring of creativity from hard-hit travel companies, including Stay Home Miles Exchange by Wunderman Thompson Bangkok. They won a 3rd Lion Trophy for this today, so let's have a look.
Last night, Thailand's Prime Minister announced a national curfew. That curfew will prohibit the public from leaving their homes.
personal favourites from the week, that one. Brilliant idea.
Yeah, really lovely. So number 2, the penultimate story. So really exciting. Reese Witherspoon joined us today for a keynote to discuss her work in shifting the narrative around women's experiences. And she spoke about her media company, Hello Sunshine, and they involve women throughout the whole storytelling production process to tell really authentic stories. So let's hear from her.
Not just making shows with women in them. It's actually, we're architecting from the very beginning. Stories written by women, produced by women, starring women, directed by women, but there are so many men involved in this process. And it's not just about reaching audiences with female stories that are, you know, creating one narrative. What we're trying to do is invite people into women's lives, that we've had very limited perspectives on what the experience is to be a woman, because stories were being written by men about women's experiences. When women authentically author those stories, and we're talking about all women, women of color, LGBTQ experiences, differently abled women, you're starting to see a broader perspective of what it looks like to walk through the world. And that's what audiences want to see.
Really looking forward to catching up on that one.
Yeah, it is a brilliant keynote. Definitely check it out.
And your final highlight?
Well, you know the drill, Tina. We're going to end on another winner reaction today. So today it's a very exuberant reaction from Marcel Paris. We've heard a lot from them today when they found out they won the first ever Grand Prix in Creative Business Transformation. It was our first story today and it's also our last, so let's have a look.
So I want to say a really big congratulations, because you guys have just won the Grand Prix for Creative Business Transformation.
I'm running into field!
Keep
running! That's amazing!
They're literally running through a field to celebrate.
Literally.
Great. More reactions tomorrow, please.
Yes, definitely. We've got a couple lined up for you.
Great. Thank you so much, Susie. We'll see you back here tomorrow to wrap up what's looking like a very exciting final day ahead.